If you can see any radiator here, just comment down. Radiator, your water pump, and thermostat. All these devices make your engine to run cool. In this video, I'm going to tell you the different type of these devices and how it work together to make your car cool. Okay, should we check the radiator of this what do you call this car? Now, the coolant which is used in cooling your car contains ethylene glycol, which is miscible with water. The more they solute, the more your car won't freeze or get hotter. It also keeps your water pump from being rusty, and also your radiator. So right here we have the water pump. This water pump sends in centrifugal force when the water is coming through the radiator and send it to the engine very fast at a fast rate so that it can circulate and cool off your engine. So this is the radiator. This is how the radiator looks like for illustration. Inside this radiator, it is made of aluminum mesh. This aluminum mesh is a high conductive material which conducts much hot substance. We have a tube which is running in from here, then out. This is the outlet where the fluid move into the engine. So when the fluid come inside, the coolant, when it come inside, it is hot right here. So these aluminum fins, which works as a heat exchanger when your car is accelerating, and the air coming in to these fins will cool off better than any other substance, and these fins will cool the tubes which carries the hot water, and by then the hot water will get cooled before it reaches here, and it will send it in to the engine also. So coming into the radiator cap, what the function of this radiator cap is the amount of pressure when your water gets to the boiling point, the peak boiling point. It has a pressure which it can't be able to evaporate into the air, so it has to come up, and the radiator cap will help it to move into the reservoir inside here, and this water will settle here for a moment so that the pressure will balance inside the engine, so it can't harm anything. So that sometimes in some cars the radiator is removed, and you just have only this. When it gets hotter, the coolant begins to pour out, which is not advisable. So inside the radiator cap, you have this spring which is set at some certain pressure psi, which it reaches that level, it pull off, and this water enters into the reservoir. Then when it's cool off, this water inside this reservoir come in and maintains the car pressure. So the thermostat right here, we are going to be showing this description, the diagram, everything in the next one after we have explained all this. So let's explain thermostat. The thermostat regulates the amount of heat, it regulates the amount of hotness and cool of the system. So inside the thermostat, it contains a wax. It contains a wax inside here, which melts at 180 degrees Fahrenheit. Inside the thermostat, when the water gets hot, it pull off the thermostat, and water enters through it and move on to the radiator for more cooling. So the cooling fan also helps a lot when you park your car. The cooling fan works, which is the function of the thermostatic switch. When the thermostatic switch sees that the engine is getting hotter, it turns on this fan, and the fan begins to work, which cools off your engine when on parking lot or when you are climbing a hill. You don't have much. When you are accelerating, you don't have much air coming in, so the cooling fan does everything in those particular moments. So now the temperature sensor, what the temperature sensor does is that it sends signal to the driver that the engine is getting hot, so the driver has to stop or cool the engine in any way. So this is the word diagram of how the cooling system works. Starting from here, the coolant come out from the engine very hot and come inside here to the radiator, and the radiator does its works as explained earlier, and it moves here. The water pump push in the water into the internal combustion engine, so it cool off the engine. It's the thermostat which regulates the degree of hotness of the system of the engine. Now when water enters into here, it begins to melt this wax in here, this wax inside the thermostat. It begins to melt at 180 Fahrenheit. When this wax melts, this rod pushes in the wax in, and hot water begin to push in and come to the radiator. So before the car starts, when it is not hot, the hot water, the coolant inside does not pass in through here. It just circulates around, and the water pump just pushes in, and it starts to circulate inside the engine. But when it gets hotter, the thermostat does its work and allow the water, the hot coolant to come into the radiator, and the radiator cool off. When it gets hotter, the thermostatic switch on the fan, and the fan begins to work as to cool the engine as possible, so it can keep your car going. Maybe when you are driving your car and your car suddenly just heat up, and the temperature sensor begins to warn you that your car is getting heated, so you have to turn on your heater. And this is the heater core. This is an extra radiator inside the compartment here, and this fan also blows off the hot air coming in through this tube, and it passes down here. So what the fan does is to cool this water that is coming in by sending in breeze to your heater. When you turn on your heater, this fan blows hot air inside your car, and your engine gets better. So this is how it works. It comes in when you turn on your switch on, your heater on inside your car. The coolant come in like this, and the fan blows in hot air inside your car, and the water begins to run in and out inside the engine and begins to cool in the engine. So this is how the radiator works, and the component of the radiator in your car, of course. So OBJ, can you see any radiator here?
I'm not sure.
Oh shit, man. I think, what is this?
This is where the fuel tank is.
This is the fuel tank. Guess this is the plug, right?
This is where the plug will be.
This is where the plug. Okay, should go over here. So this is the kickstarter, right? Yeah. Let's check if we can see any oil. Oh, shit! It's water, bro. It's water. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you can see any radiator here, just comment down below. Just tell me where this radiator is. Tell me.